I'm Gold Derby editor Daniel Montgomery here with Jalyn Hall, who plays Emmett Till in the film Till. Uh, how much did you know about the story of Emmett Till before making this film?
You know, at a young age, it was kind of told to me as a cautionary tale, a means to prevent something like that of, sorry, to prevent something like that of ever happening to me. So I kind of knew the surface information, but not in detail like I do now.
And what kind of research and process of learning about this storyline did you do, in the process of making the film?
Yeah, so of course there's that sort of, initial research that you do to figure out, you know, the time period and really get accustomed to that and being able to portray somebody rooted in that time period, the dialect, the mannerisms, his personality traits, and really embodying that. So it was a process to really step into his shoes.
And one thing that's really special about the film and this performance is obviously it's a tragic story, but Emmett Till at the time doesn't know he's in a tragic story. He's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
sort of living his life, and we get to see a lot of his joy.
Yep.
What was it like showing that part of him, just who he was on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it was very important to me because no one has ever really seen him in that light, or he's never had a voice for us to hear, and really connect with him. So this was kind of that for me, and making sure to give an accurate, authentic portrayal of a 14-year-old boy, joyful boy, curious boy, and just lively. And that was kind of my realization that I just, replayed in my mind to make sure that I did it to the best of my ability.
And how well could you relate to him? Like how similar did you feel like his personality was to yours, and how close did you feel like you were to
Yeah,
him?
yeah. I told everyone, I feel like me and Emmett weren't unalike in the ways that we have a beautiful relationship with our mother. They're like our best friend. And he just loved to smile, he loved to dance, he loved to sing, he loved music, and any and everything that a young kid would enjoy. Um, and it was very easy for me to connect with that, with us being similar. Especially, I was 14 when we filmed this, and he was 14 at the time of his murder. So yeah, it wasn't really hard to step into those shoes.
And you mentioned his relationship with his mother. You're working with Danielle Deadweiler, who is really like emotionally captivating in the film. What was that relationship like, with you as actors to create that relationship on screen?
Oh my, it was amazing. I really can say, like, it was very authentic and, pure, even when our chemistry read over Zoom, because at the time, like, everything was over Zoom, which it pretty much still is. Um, we just clicked in the Zoom call. It wasn't there was no traction, the chemistry was there. And when we got in person, when they told me that I actually booked the job, we were just all, me and my mom smiling, laughing, crying, and we had got up and danced. I danced with Danielle, and it was just a very pure moment, and that only reflected the joy and love that Emmett and Mamie shared. So, getting that relationship, it was just like that. We didn't spend a lot of time together before production, so everything was just on the day, but it was so natural.
And what was the mood like on set? Was there like a lot of joy in the production, even though obviously you're telling a very emotional, difficult story at times?
Yes, there's of course going to be that, that emotion. It's because it's heavy material, it's a lot. But if you let that set in and let it defer you from telling the truth of these people, then you've lost, right? So I just, I of course accepted that it was that emotion, but pushed through it in doing or having this honor and this amazing responsibility, um, to give light to his truth, to give light to his being, to his humanity. So yeah.
And what was it like working with director Chinonye Chukwu about just creating this character with her and just the mood she set on set?
Yeah, she is an amazing director, and she's so meticulous and detailed. Everything down to the cover art, to the posters, it has meaning, and it has symbolicness. And that's just all from hers, along with everyone who's a part of it. But their genius, and her genius when going about filming the shots and everything like that. And she's even more of a great person, because she would always check up on us mentally, make sure we're good, checking on how we feel during the process. And you need that kind of nurturing when going through something that's super, tough, mentally. So yeah, she is an amazing director and an even more amazing person.
And one of the pivotal scenes in the story is, of course, the scene with Carolyn Bryant, where Emmett Till has that encounter, and
Mhm.
he's still in like this 15-year or 14-year-old boy,
Yeah,
just rambunctious, and he doesn't realize what's really the depth of that. What
yeah.
was your how did it feel to shoot that scene in particular?
Well, to shoot it, we all kind of knew the cultural significance and the weight and the depth of what we were doing, in that scene. So it was kind of like, it, but we don't acknowledge it. We just, play, convey these people, these human beings in such an authentic and accurate way, and we get through it. It wasn't until I seen it, the finished product. It wasn't until I seen it in the actual movie that it was really like, heart wrenching in a way that's like, you go into this movie already knowing what's going to happen, but how it happens and the way it happens. And by the time that you connected with these humans, with these people, it just holds a different weight, but it's something that changes and impacts you and inspires you as well. So yeah, so that was kind of my takeaway from it.
And then, of course, there's the scene where Emmett is kidnapped from his uncle's home. Uh, how was that? Did that feel very emotional to shoot, and scary, and trying to put yourself in Emmett's shoes under those really kind of dire situations?
um no, no, I can definitely say that it was challenging sometimes, like sometimes I would like need to pause and take a break and, collect myself, or get a hug from my mom or anything like that. But it was overall push. Like I had a one track mind going into it, like, and one track in the way of like focusing on what's ahead, never looking over the day, or never looking at, what's going to happen the next day and the next day. I've always just, been in that moment, in that day, and did that to the best of my ability, in an efforts not to over psych myself out, with, things that are ahead. But yeah, so no. A lot of people ask me if there was fear or pressure, and there is that initial understanding of what you're about to get into, but I was never scared. I didn't feel any pressure.
And one of the sadder aspects of the story is how relevant it still is.
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned knowing the story of Emmett Till as a cautionary tale in the modern era.
Yes.
Uh, how does it feel to know that what happened to Emmett Till, like we can still see it happen. We see it happen to
Mhm.
Trayvon Martin or Tamir Rice,
Yeah.
and that this is still something. This is still part of the world that we're living in.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's sad, is what it is. It truly is. But this is a project that really, you know, reshapes history in a way that is in color, that is in light, that is in, love, that you can really see that, because now you see what happened in a whole different, hue, and you can see where we are, so this is kind of the base where we started, really. That was the catalyst for a lot of inspiration, and activism, up to where we are now. And I'm not going to say that there hasn't been change, because there has, but you can obviously see that we still have a ways to go. And this is kind of that reminder, that extra push, that that inspiration, to keep going, that we need, that the world needs. And yeah, I'm just, amazed and happy to be a part of it.
And Emmett's part of the story is only part of the story that we see in the film. There's also, of course, after his death, his mother's activism and crusading on his behalf. What was the experience like to see that whole film for the first time, everything in context?
Well, it was educational for me as well, because of course going through it, I gathered a lot of information. But this goes, I feel like this is for me, and it goes for a lot of people. Like when you can see things in moving picture or in movie form, you can really connect with it, and notice things that you can't notice, or fail to notice when reading or listening. Um, and this was that for me. Like I was introduced to this story in a whole new light, with people that I can connect to, people that I can see myself in, while simultaneously getting educated on their story. And a lot of kids my age, or even younger or even older, will feel that way.
And what do you hope people, when watching this film, will take from this story, from Emmett and the aftermath, and just this story as a whole?
Yeah, well, everybody's going to take something that's unique to them. They're going to take away something that only they feel moved by, and it might be the same for some, it might be different, but it's going to be unique to them. And it's what they do with that, in the long term. It's what they do with that inspiration. It's what they do with the impact that this movie has left on them, to enact change, to keep going with the fight. This is not a movie, uh, that you watch to be entertained. It's a movie that you watch to be changed, to be inspired, to be persuaded to do better. It's one of those things, and educated, of course. So it's all of those things wrapped into one. And we really can't pinpoint what people will take away from it, but we know it'll be something that changes them for the better.
And you've been acting for from a young age. You're still, of course, very young. What inspired you to become an actor and to sort of pursue this art form and this kind of storytelling?
Yeah, so it's just always been my dream to be an actor, from a very young age, to now. I'm still along for the ride. I have had a lot of success, which I'm so thankful for, and I can't wait to see what the future has to come.
And how do you think you've evolved? Things that you've learned and developed over time, and as you've been acting.
Yeah, I've been exposed to a lot of knowledge, with a lot of the projects that I've been on. Predominantly a adult cast. I've gotten to have conversations and listen to them and be taught, and that has really matured me in ways, that a lot of kids haven't yet. And so I'm thankful for that. I've seen places. I've seen different aspects of life. I just previously went to London, and their culture is so different than ours. And it's really something that I cherish. I cherish this learning journey and this acting journey, and this life that I've attained, that I've been given by the grace of God. So I'm excited. I'm thankful.
What do you aspire to in the coming years? As you continue to grow and evolve as an actor.
I want to be I want to have an impact on every outreach of the world. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to continue to act, because that is my soul. That's just my soul, mission right now. And that's where my heart is, acting. That's my passion. And I will also, branch out into businesses, community outreaches, whatever it may be. But I know that I will have a foothold everywhere. And soon, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be the next week, it may not be the next year, maybe, but soon people will say, because I always hear like, you're going to be the next Denzel, but soon people will be telling their kids, you're going to be the next Jalyn Hall. And at that point, I know that I've completed my mission.
Well, I want to congratulate you on this film and this performance. it's been a pleasure talking with you about it, and best of luck on your future endeavors. I hope that young actors, old actors will aspire to be the next Jalyn Hall.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.